Hello, everybody. Welcome in to a Sunday evening. It is November the 9th, and I am Chris Allen, and this is your 270 weather. Weather for the 270 area code and beyond. Obviously, what we're going to talk about this evening is not only the bitter cold, but exactly how much snow we're anticipating, the first shot of Arctic air and snow for the Commonwealth of Kentucky. It is on its way, and I'll be able to show you and kind of track that as we go through the next several minutes here. I hope that I won't take very long, but there's a lot to talk about, a lot to unpack with all of this wintry weather that is coming in. I will tell you that the current time that I'm doing this is 4:55 Central Time. So if you're watching me live from whatever time zone you may be watching me, this is 4:55 Central. Or if you're watching me, you're watching a replay that I post on social media so that you can watch it later, like on YouTube or Facebook or whatever. There's your time check. So everything that I'm saying to you as you watch, just understand this is as of 4:55 p.m. Central Time. And things could certainly change between now and the time you actually watch it. Now, there are a number of things going on, but I'll get to that in just a moment. First, we'll recap the day. First thing we usually do here on the 270 channel is to look back at the day today. 57 was the high temperature reading at the Bowling Green Airport on this Sunday. 5 degrees colder than the normal of 62 because obviously of all the clouds and the showers that we've had today. The low has been 40, but I can tell you that it's going to get much lower than that tonight. Tonight, it's happening. It's practically here, which I'll show you in a couple of minutes here in a second, just how cold it's already getting in a few places. And so far today, here at the Bowling Green Airport, we've picked up 15 hundredths of an inch of light rain. And all of that just light rain. There has not been anything else that has fallen around here in the Bowling Green area or the 270. But you know what? You don't have to go that far north to begin seeing the changeover. The changeover is happening. It's happening right now. As you take a look at live radar, this is the Indianapolis radar. I want to start there because this is where things are beginning to transition. And that transition is going to start there and then work its way down, work its way south. So let's spend a little time here on the radar because this helps tell the story better than anything else. Again, this is Indianapolis. You see how all of this blue is snow. It's snowing really good now in and around Indianapolis. You can see why, because temperatures are below freezing. You got 31, 31, 30, 28, 32, 30. Kokomo's it's at 30. I don't think the Beach Boys will be singing much about Kokomo and down on the island and the drinks and all that. Well, we know they weren't talking about Kokomo, Indiana in the Beach Boys song. Anyway, it's from the movie Cocktails. It's a whole different story, different Kokomo. But as you go further south, you can see that as we change radars from the Indianapolis radar, let's go to the Evansville radar. And here you see the temperatures are slightly at or just above freezing. So we do see a little bit of blue once you get up, say, toward Effingham, Illinois. Terre Haute is kind of on the border as far as, liquid to freezing, 33. Get Bloomington, Indiana at 33, but they are reporting some light snow. But you get further south of those areas and you get closer to Louisville or even Evansville, then it's all just a really chilly rain. There might be a little mix of something inside that rain. So you can see down toward Owensboro, it's a chilly rain with the current temperature reading of 37 here at 5 p.m. Central Time. It is now 5 p.m. and you're watching 270 weather with live radar, because we're seeing where it's snowing right now and where it's not. Now, there has been a few reports of even snow mixed in outside of Owensboro with a reported temperature of 37. You say, how can that be? That's too many degrees above, or too warm above freezing for it to. Well, here's the thing. It depends on where the freezing level in the atmosphere is. Now, if it's cold enough near the ground, but yet the thermometers are still reading above freezing, some of those snowflakes can hold together, even at 37. But here's the thing. I am not seeing any kind of travel issues. I've not heard of anything that's starting to be a big deal anywhere. This is just how this is all developing. So we go from the Evansville radar to the Louisville radar. And now we're beginning to see that most of Metro Louisville and surrounding areas are well into the 30s, well above freezing, but nothing being reported as far as snow. But once you get up to near Bloomington, Indiana, as I mentioned, Seymour, Indiana, some of these places are beginning to change over from rain to some snow showers. So I still think it's going to take much of the night to get us cold enough down here in much of the 270 and the 615 to get us cold enough for snow. Because look, here are the current reported temperatures from Bowling Green to Clarksville to Nashville, so forth and so on. Light rain, temperature here is 38 in Bowling Green as of 5:02 p.m. It's 42 in Nashville. So we still have, kind of a sort of a long way to go before we begin to see the transition take place here in the southern part of Kentucky and northern middle Tennessee. But it's going to happen. It's going to happen, but it may not happen until the middle of the night. Okay? Let's do a little run of the animation of the precipitation. Here you see it's all kind of moving from northwest to southeast. And it's very light. Occasionally you'll have to, I was out a little while ago and I had to turn on the wipers, but intermittently and not the constant wipers, put them on the timer. That's the way it's raining for most of us right now in southern Kentucky in the 270. But you can see pretty much everywhere, temperatures are still well above freezing and even in the 40s in some cases. So, we still have a little ways to go before we begin to see things changing over, but it will change over. It is going to happen. It is going to happen most likely overnight. Here is, okay, I'm trying to pay better attention to you guys in the comment section. Here is a comment from Carolyn Shepard. She is over in Morgantown. She says that they are getting a snow mix in Morgantown. Okay. Well, thank you for that, Carolyn. It's possible. When the temperatures kind of get somewhat close to freezing, it can be So if there is enough evaporation going on in the air, then, some things can start to happen, even at, say, 37, 36, 37, 38 degrees. Okay. Now, anywhere you look this evening, it is very possible that you could find some snow just popping up way before, say, 10, 11 midnight tonight. But that's when I'm expecting it to begin to do the changeover from rain to snow. Now, let me just tell you, because somebody's already asking, several of you are already asking, is it going to be a big deal? Absolutely not. Not. It is not going to be a big deal. Is it going to make an impact? If it does, it's going to be very small. In fact, let's now, can you hear me? I want to make sure you can hear me. All right. Can you hear me now? I keep running into this issue. I'm so sorry. Okay. All right. There we go. So I had to see, I learned it from the last time this happened, and I remembered now what switch to hit. Okay, good. You guys are paying attention. I love it. Thank you. And I'm paying attention to you too. That's one thing I got to learn to do. This runs both ways. I got to remember that it's not like television where it's just one way and then I can't hear you guys when it's television. This is different. Okay. So as I was saying, minor snowfall accumulations tonight, but I think the better chance of seeing snow is actually going to be during the day tomorrow. Okay. We'll follow along here. Follow me now as I take a look at some of these things. Isolated light rain showers change over to snow showers this evening. Periods of light snow flurries possible overnight. A brief lull in the snow showers is possible after midnight west of I-75. Well, that includes us in the 270 and I-65. Now, as we get into the day tomorrow, heavier snow showers and even what we call snow squalls will be possible. It's almost going to be a convective type of situation where you might even see the sun come out a little bit and then it snow. And the snow blows like pretty hard. You think, oh boy, here it comes. It's going to be a big deal. No. Then the sun comes back out and then it snows again. That's the way it's going to be tomorrow. There are some places where some negative impacts on travel are possible, as it says there, especially bridges and overpasses. Confidence in snow amounts, medium. So how much are we talking about? A coating to less than an inch for Bowling Green and much of the 270. The issue is ground temperatures are still in the 50s. And even surface temperatures like the asphalt, the pavement on the roads, still a little bit too warm. So this is not going to stick in a lot of places. much of the Bowling Green, Southern Kentucky area is just not going to stick. It may for a few minutes and then it'll melt. It's going to be that kind of a situation. Not until you get over into eastern Kentucky where you see the blue on the map. That's where they're expecting a 1 to 2 inch coating of snow starting late tonight and through the day tomorrow. That's it. That's it. All right. So now the Weather Service has done a little chart here, which is pretty helpful to even allow you to see city by city projected snowfall forecasts. So with the transition from rain to snow, overnight tonight, there's going to be very little. You can see there's 11/9 Sunday, 7 p.m., which is only 2 hours from now. They only show Bowling Green with a T. What is that T? It's a trace. Means hardly nothing, if anything. Everybody else is pretty much zero, except you go all the way down the column there to Moorhead. That's over in east central Kentucky. Now, as we get into Monday, and you see the different hours, the different columns, this is when we start to see some minor accumulation of snow in a few places. Even here in Bowling Green, we're seeing less than an inch, and that's by 7 o'clock in the morning. But that's going to be pretty much what we see throughout the day. Less than an inch. It's going to come in, it'll put down a little bit of snow, then it passes. Sun comes out. Then another little burst of snow. That passes, and the sun comes out again. Then here comes yet a third little burst of snow. And you look at that one and you think, oh, it's really coming down. Look at those flakes. And all of a sudden the sun comes back out and it's over. This is how it's going to play tomorrow. Now, the better chance, again, for the best accumulation of snow is going to be east of Interstate 65. We're talking about from Covington, Cincinnati, over to Corbin, Moorhead, and those locations you can see there, 1 to 2 inches of snow, Pikeville, all those areas, far to the east, even into Tuesday. Some locations will still be getting some of the leftover snowflakes as you head further east. So it's not like this is going to be a big deal as far as accumulation, but you know what? It doesn't take a lot to have an impact on the roads. Now, we are going to be below freezing, not just tonight, but tomorrow night and into Tuesday morning. And because of that, yes, there could be some issues with icy spots on the bridges and overpasses, mostly. Now, the other thing that we must talk about, regardless if you get any snowflakes or not, are cold air, frigid air, and bitter wind chills. That's already happening. Temperatures have been falling all afternoon, and here we go. Here are the minimum chills, wind chills expected by tomorrow morning. Here in Bowling Green, Glasgow, surrounding areas, we're talking about, it's going to feel like 15 with a low of, say, 24 tonight, with the winds coming out of the north and northwest, 10 to 20. That's going to make it feel like it's 15 degrees. That's how the wind, the temperature of the wind against your body, that's how it's going to feel. Yeah. And again, tomorrow night into Tuesday morning, even colder because, well, there won't be snow, there won't be clouds, and there won't be as much wind, but there will still be enough of a breeze to where we'll go from 15 to 17 degrees wind chill, or even colder further east. We're talking about low to mid-teens, the wind chills on Tuesday morning. But we won't have any snow left over by then. So you got a combination of bitter cold, some snow, and wind chills. All of that is coming. And then what? Then what? Well, I'm going to take a look at the then what. As we see, again, on radar, all of this is just light rain coming through right now at 5:15 p.m. Central Time. Now, before I go any further, let me just tell you about your HVAC system. Hopefully, you've heeded my words up until this point about being ready for this event, because it's here. It's here. It's too late to do anything about your heating and cooling system now, because this event is here and the temperatures are dropping. Right now, I mean, we've gone, it's 30, 38, 37. Now it's just dropped again. It says 38 on the radar, but it's 37 now. And that shows that the temperature will continue to drop to about 24 tonight. So hopefully you've already probably got the heat. I know I've got the heat on here at the house because it's already cold enough for that. And with the winds, we're already getting wind chills in the 20s. And it won't take long for that to get into the teens overnight. So R&R HVAC, R&R Controls, they can take care of your heating, cooling system and get you ready for the next time this happens. And there will be a next time. Now, I know some of you that you put it off. You didn't think this was going to happen, or maybe you just didn't think about it. You know, there's going to be other opportunities to give them a call. They will be back in the office tomorrow. And I bet if you get cold enough tonight or tomorrow, you're going to give them a call. You're going to say, hey, I'd like to set up an appointment for you to come out and take a look at my heating and cooling system, because I tried to turn it on last night and it didn't work. Ew. I would say come on over here where it's nice and toasty, but I don't have enough room. It's not that I'm being rude, but you know, but here's what I would do. Contact R&R, rnrhvac.com, or call that number at the top, 270-777-2024. rnrhvac.com or 270-777-2024. Because when you contact R&R Controls, they look at your heating and cooling, your HVAC system, and your generator. That way, you'll never be without any of it. Hopefully, we will not have to go to generator status, but you know what? In this kind of weather, you just never know. All right. We move on. And now we're going to move on to the Kentucky Mesonet network, so we can see here at 5:18 just exactly what's going on. Now we're beginning to see temperatures falling. Now let me show you how much they've fallen. Here are the high temperatures for today. We started this morning in the 50s. As I said, here at the airport, we had a high today of 57, okay, right? And 54 at the Corvette plant, 56 at the Ag Expo Center. Most of you, anywhere you look here in Southern Kentucky in the 270, you started in the mid 50s this morning. What is it now? Mid 30s. We have already taken a 20-degree drop in temperature since this morning, and it continues to fall. Winds are coming out of the northwest. These are sustained winds. These are not wind gusts. Sustained winds are 8 to 12 to 15 miles per hour. Wind gusts currently from the northwest at 18 to 20 to 22 miles an hour. Well, that creates a wind chill. Let me see if I can find the wind chill. No, I can't. Okay. Oh, there it is. Okay, wind chill. That creates what you're looking at, that wind right there, creates a wind chill of lower 30s for the moment. But that's going to drop into the teens later tonight. Brace yourselves. Those of you like me who have to get up early in the morning and leave for work, it's going to be brutal. I get up at 3 and I leave the house here at around 4 to make it to the TV station in time to get ready to do the morning show, sunrise. So by that time, we're going to have a temperature of, look at my chart here, temperature of, say, 27 with a wind chill of maybe 18, 19. That's at 4 a.m. tomorrow morning. Precipitation, I can't just say rainfall because some of this counts the rainfall that we had today, and some of it is the water equivalent of melted snow. Not a lot of snow, but enough that you could see 1/100th of an inch to 1/10 of an inch. And if you're doing a 10-to-1 ratio on snow, then you're talking in the darker green areas here, maybe an inch of snow by the time it's all done. Not the Bowling Green area, but east of here. So that also looks to verify. Okay, let's go to the maps. And we go step by step. Here is this evening. And you can see here, 6 o'clock. I mean, we're still 30 minutes away or so, but this is the projection for 6 o'clock. Notice the tight lines. That's where the winds are coming out of the north and northwest. And when these lines are closer together, there's wind. And you can see still mostly rain, but at times, and as we're getting some reports from some of you, that there's already little either ice pellets or snowflakes mixing in with the rain. That will continue until late tonight when it all changes over. There may be a little break. As I mentioned from the very beginning, there could be a little break from this piece of energy to the next piece of energy that still has yet to drop down out of the Great Lakes. And there it is. So this is midnight. Here's 6 a.m. with a bitter wind still out of the north and northwest. There may be a few flurries flying around, but I still believe the better chance of getting some actual snow showers or snow squalls is going to be about midday through the afternoon tomorrow from about Bowling Green, Interstate 65 east. So if you live anywhere in central Kentucky, the Cumberland Plateau, and east, this is where the better setup is going to be for that energy to produce almost a convective type situation, almost like the spring when you have the sun come out, then you get a shower, then the shower moves away and the sun comes back out. It's going to be just like that, except with snow instead of rain. This is going to happen to many of you tomorrow. And because of that, the nature of this, there's not enough to put down a big accumulation of snow. It's just going to be a little dusting, coating. Some places may get up to an inch. Further east, maybe a little more. Here's tomorrow evening, Monday evening, 6 p.m. Everything starts to move east, clearing out by 6 a.m. Tuesday, but bitter cold. Ooh. Lows in the 20s, wind chills in the teens. Tuesday morning. But notice these lines, equal lines of pressure, these isobars, are starting to show more of a southwesterly wind flow. Well, that means it's going to warm up. And by Tuesday afternoon, we may actually get close to 50. And then as the week progresses, here we go into Wednesday, 50s to near 60. Here's a cold front, but as it comes on by, it's not going to amount to anything. It's going to be high pressure in control, so a dry front. This is Thursday. Temperatures in the 60s, then warming even more. As we get into Friday, here comes another warm front and more southwesterly breezes that'll warm us up closer to 70. As we head into the upcoming weekend, there's Saturday, looking nice and toasty. Then by Saturday night into Sunday, and it doesn't show it here, but I am looking for some rain and thunderstorms to come in next Saturday night into Sunday. And there's even a possibility that we could be looking at another round of maybe stronger thunderstorms Saturday night into Sunday, next Sunday. So the fun continues. The fun continues. You know, we often talk about this as a second season of weather, second season of severe weather in the fall. And it is a real possibility that may be the case next weekend. But it's too soon to say for sure. We'll just have to wait and see how all that pans out. All right, let's look at the model blender now. And as you can see up here, we've got maybe 39 tomorrow, 38, 39. Okay, that's it. Then you see we go to 22 tomorrow night with the snow ending, skies clearing, and cold enough for wind chills again, like tonight, being in the teens. But then there you go on Tuesday with it warming all the way up with a southwest wind to near 50. And then we continue to warm Wednesday, Thursday, 60s, Friday, Saturday, 70s. Then here comes the system that I mentioned Saturday night into Sunday with maybe another chance of rain and thunderstorms, and that cools us off again, but not this cold. We're talking about upper 50s during the day and then upper 30s to low 40s at night as we move into the beginning of next week. So this is just temporary. What we're getting tonight and tomorrow is not going to last. It is just going to happen for tonight and tomorrow night, and then all of this is gone. So that's, and because of the fast movement of this system, that's another reason why I don't think it will have time to linger and cause, a lot of accumulation or any major impacts on roads and things like that. So we will just get our little temporary shot of winter for tonight, tomorrow, and then a little bit of snow, then it's out of here. And the rest of this week is going to look fairly nice. Now, I do want to address one other thing. And I may decide to do this in a separate podcast at some point. But, typically this time of the year, we get a push of, I've discussed this before, renegade postings of doomsday and this is going to be bad. And there's one particular person out there that I don't know where he lives or where he's from, and he doesn't even go by his real name. He posts these outrageous long-range snowfall totals for deep into December that's showing like feet of snow in Kentucky. And of course, people are navigating to that and sharing it and clicking and liking, and then they come back to me and ask me, well, what do you think? Well, I'm not even going to comment on it except for this, to say that all of that is just speculation. It's too far out. It's crazy to even think that it might have any validity. It's lunacy to even do that. It just gets people worked up. Same thing when somebody says it's, this looks like tornado weather, and they try to say this could be a major tornado outbreak or whatever, and then nothing happens. And it gets people all worked up and scared for no reason. I absolutely abhor that. But now we have a new little fly in the ointment, if you will. And we get some people who are now writing these very clever, almost like, how did they come up with that? This clever writing of these forecasts that are just like, well, whoever wrote this is a genius. No, they're not. They're using artificial intelligence. Duh. I mean, this is going to be a whole other level of stupidity that is going to be there. When you start looking at social media, and not only we're going to have some of these people posting these long range forecast models and making all these crazy predictions 2 months away from now or whatever, it's just silliness. But now add to that the misuse of artificial intelligence or AI to do your writing for you and come up with these, what appears to be this genius level creativity to explain the forecast with all these little idioms and rhymes and beautifully constructed wording and all this kind of stuff. And you know what? I know the people that are behind it. And it's like, can you not just write an authentic explanation of the weather, mistakes and all, fumbles and bumbles like I make? Can you just not be genuine, for crying out loud? You got to go to artificial intelligence to do your speaking for you? Screw it. I'm not doing it. Now, the only thing I use that's artificial intelligence is when you see me posting the thumbnail that goes to these videos. And I'll use AI to come up with me, with the expressions on my face, or like back at Halloween made me look like Dracula. I just tell AI, hey, take my actual picture and make me look like Dracula. And it did it. But as far as me speak, there's even AI out there right now, and it's being used by some people in the weather business, in the news business, and other places. It can take your image and it can make it look like I'm sitting here talking to you, but it's all AI and it's all perfectly done. And I look the best and I sound the best. I don't make any stumbles or fumbles or mistakes. That technology exists and it's out there and people are using it. They don't even have to be actually in front of a camera or turn on the microphone like I'm doing right now. I am not doing that. And if you want to follow somebody like that, go right ahead. But you know what? It's going to make it where having any kind of flaws or mistakes are just, you can't have them. And therefore, you can't be merciful, graceful, or forgiving. And that is just, in my book, that is wrong. So just be careful when you scroll and you start to see all these weather people doing this paragraph after paragraph of perfectly, oh, how did they write that? Whoever wrote this is a genius. No, they're not. They're using artificial intelligence. In other words, they're not being themselves. Just keep that in mind. When you get me, you get the flaws, you get the fumbles, you get the microphone not being turned on sometimes, and you get the wrong graphic coming up and all that kind of stuff, but you know that it's real and it's authentic. That's the way I'm always going to do it, no matter how the technology changes. Okay? All right, you guys, have a great evening. Be careful in the morning. There could be a slick spot or two. Probably not a whole lot of snow on the ground here in Bowling Green. Icy spots on bridges and overpasses. But the other big story is the wind's going to be blowing and it's going to be bitter, bitter cold. In the morning, cover up your ears, cover up your face and your hands. Have time to warm up your vehicle. If you have an automatic start on your vehicle, take advantage of it. That's what it's there for. Otherwise, I'll see you in the morning, live, not AI, on your TV at 6 a.m., News 40 Sunrise at 9 a.m. and 12 noon. God bless you. Thank you for watching.